somewhere. I gotta get up out of here. I'm sorry for the false alarms earlier with my lives. From the beginning of this, and when I jumped on YouTube, well, I won't say jumped on YouTube, but the recent 2 months that I've been popular here on YouTube, when I came on here with the intention of telling my story. And those who are not familiar with my story, I worked for 3 separate record companies for over 16 years as distributors, and then one main company for the duration of that 16 years. I had a epic time, everything like that. There were some things that transpired in the minute, and hence led up to here. One of those things was me being fired, or rather not being needed anymore, along with a couple other guys. So I hope I answered that question. Since I've been where I've been at currently, let me explain that the most. Okay, so first things first. The state only mandates you 30 days at these places, okay? 30 days. After that, what happens is you end up getting what is called an extension. That extension can go from 60 days to 120 days, and I think the 120 days is max. Now, at that very particular moment, what happens is, give me 1 second, this lady's creeping around me. May I help you? May I help you? Okay, because you're acting real silly right now, kind of suspect. Would you like to see the camera? Would you like to be on camera? I can put you on camera. Okay. It's weird, these people out here. They're like the silliest people out here. They do this most antagonistic things, and then they try to play victim. Like this woman, she's literally circling around me to see what I'm doing, like she's the fucking hall monitor or something. And then they put this little quirky, little nasty smile on their faces, which is just like, I'm really friendly. No, you're not. You're an antagonist. All right, so anyway, the one thing about being at these places is, unlike many other states within the tri-state, one of the major problems is that they don't have any extensions worth outside of that 120 hours. So what happens is that at some point or another, what happens is you end up being pushed out. Now that is the case that happened with my one friend, which I put up before, and I subsequently actually ended up deleting the video. And the reason I deleted the video, because he didn't want his whole journey to be chronicled. So that I can understand. So shout out to him. I'm not going to say his name. He asked me immediately to take the video down, and I did, as requested. I try to give people that space, you know what I mean? Even if I ask them to come on camera, I just, you know what I mean? If they don't want it up there, I take it down. I've got too many followers for that. So right now, what happened with me was that duration of that 4 months is up, okay? Now, there was a litany of different things that were reasoned and questioned or whatever, in between that stint. And one of those things was, give me a second, guys. I'm gonna get up because this lady is really making me uncomfortable. You know, it's amazing how, like, they always play victim, but turn around and do the same passive-aggressive behavior with other people. It's just like, it's fucking amazing. Like, you would not believe the attitudes of these people out here in Connecticut. They're very, like, this narcissistic. In this little town I'm in, it's just so, like, dry and boring, and this is the most drab people you ever meet in your life, and they all think they're somebody. Like, I've never seen it before in my life like it is out here. They all think they're somebody, even the poorest of poor. Compared to us in Manhattan, I would say, anyway. So anyway, let me carry this on. So basically what happened was, once you're in these places or whatever, these home shelters, what happens is they try to find you some type of housing, some type of situation. But being that it's COVID-19, unfortunately enough, that's not the case, and it's not helping as steady as that. Being that that's not the situation and that's not the case, people like me, my friend, I'm gonna give you an example about him. They opened him a place where 2 days before that, there was a shooting. And the very place I stayed at, there was a shooting there, okay? Now, I put that up on my page. You can go view it on the page. It's there for everybody to watch and look at. And actually, after I'm done with this, I'll actually put it in the description for everyone to view. So one of the more important things I will say is this. If somehow or another you end up in that same situation, one of the things I would tell you most importantly is don't put your trust in them. Now today, I had a woman, and she came on my page, and she told me about the experiences she was having currently. Yeah, I hear, you know, and I'm going to address that too, because I think that needs to be addressed as well. I hear all that, and I hear all the good intentions and everything like that, and that's a wonderful thing. You're way too hard, buddy. I hear all the good intentions and everything like that, and I respect it, you know? But the thing is, well wishes, saying Jesus gonna help you, and everything like that, that's good. And I grew up in the church. So I quote Bible verses, you know what I mean? I've always done that. I don't need anybody trying to tell me that. This is not a situation where prayer is going to see you through. Prayer will see you through certain situations, yeah, but effectively to get it done and over with, you need monetary gain. And I think that's where a lot of people are delusional. There are a lot of people that I notice, especially in African American Latino community, that repeatedly mention Jesus as a solution to everything. I think it even goes back to the incarnation of just different types of, what's a word I want to say here? Just different types of people and their ideologies. A lot of ideologies nowadays are basically, you know, centers around, what's the best word to use? Conformity. Conformist. It's very easy to become a conformist. It doesn't take much effort. Being original, that takes effort. But being a conformist doesn't take much effort at all. That's what you mostly see. And so, I know this is not making sense to you guys, but I'm trying to explain it the best way I can. I knew from the time I was out here that I would not be staying here. I made that very clear in the first videos I made. I said, I won't be staying here. I reiterated it several times and said, I won't be staying here. You know what I mean? And still people, guys are wondering where I'm at. I came out here because this is local for us, and I can just, you know what I mean, move around and motivate around or whatever. So, you know what I mean? It's a case of that. There's an exit somewhere out here I can smoke.
Smoke?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You see the Rolex store?
Okay, so you're talking to the right, right?
Yes,
okay.
on the right.
So go all the way down to the end and to the right? Thank you. Okay, just asking one of the guys how to get outside, so I can go outside and talk to you guys. I knew from the time I got there that I wasn't going to be staying there, all right? And the reason I knew I wasn't going to be staying there because I want to explain to you guys. So basically what had happened was initially, was when I stayed there, I knew that it was on the premise that I was going to be going eventually back to the area that I want to be in and I'm supposed to be in. These people knew that initially, okay? When she put me in there, she knew that. When she signed me up for whatever program, she knew this. And she said to me, she said, okay, and I'm gonna break this really down because this story is long. But if you guys are regular followers of mine, you be on my page all the time, you'll know everything I'm telling you is the truth. So basically, this woman, it is right here. Okay. Oh, so we do have an area inside. Huh. You still have the outside area for smoking as well? Do you still have an outside area for smoking? Never mind. I didn't get any of that. I'll ask. Thank you. Where's that now? Cedar entrance? No. I want to go outside and smoke a cigarette. At security? Okay, thank you. All right, I'm back. I'm asking this woman how to get out here so I can smoke a cigarette. Ooh, shit. Hold on 1 second, guys. Is there an area out here to smoke? Is there an area? How you guys respond like that? I don't want to smoke in there. I'm about to choke to death. You had a place out there in front of the yes, you did. I just smoked out there yesterday. You had a place in front of, I think it's a hotel entrance or something like that. It was right behind me. It's open on the weekends, that entrance. So what entrance is open?
You're talking about Pequot entrance.
Yes, what I'm talking about, yeah.
When you put it down there, there's
No, that's all, that whole area is closed.
All right, if you go down the escalators over there in the center,
Uh-huh.
downstairs, or take the elevators to the lobby,
Yeah.
you up there.
Gotcha. Thank you. All right, I'm back. They got an area you can smoke up here, but it's like, whoo, boy. Look at this smell like a goddamn camel. Talking about y'all. So she knew initially that the whole purpose at that time was to find me a place down there in Stanford. Now, what I was told was, before she left, which was just a week and a half ago now, she told me, she said, hey, listen, don't worry, there's a new person coming in, they're gonna take care of you. We more importantly want to get you, I talked to one guy, said he wanted to give me a hotel room. I was like, okay, cool, no problems. So on the completion of that, I'm thinking, okay, this guy's got me a hotel room, I'm getting ready to be moved to another area. Everything's all right, right? The guy tells me at the time, this is another coordinator, I'm gonna call you in a day. I never hear from the guy. A week passes by, never hear from the guy. 2 weeks passes by, never hear from the guy. 3 weeks pass by, never hear from the guy. Completely and utterly dissed. I never hear from the guy, period, all right? So this was the guy that supposedly was supposed to be getting me a hotel room and all this stuff. Never happened, okay? Just note that, never happened. Never even contacted me. So before my social worker left, which she left, I'd say a week and a half, almost 2 weeks ago, because she went on maternity leave. Prior to that, she wasn't able to be there that often because of her pregnancy. She had difficulties during her pregnancy, which I don't put her no blame for that, but it is what it is. She couldn't really, I don't know how to put it, but she really couldn't, this is not a complaint of just myself, this is a complaint of multiple people. So I guess the word you want to use there is she couldn't really substantiate what she was doing, and that's one of the main problems, She would see this lady maybe 2-3 times a week. Out of a 5-day work day, possibly maybe 2 days a week. Some weeks she wouldn't come in at all. So the level of interaction between us is little, if none. So therefore, anything not getting done, anything that I want to say, anything else is not getting taken care of at that moment. And it's unfortunate. So I'm looking to myself and I'm saying, okay, there's something wrong here. There's something, how you doing? There's something apparently that I missed. And I don't know what it is that I missed exactly, but one thing I do know is this. She did as much as she could, and I respect her for it. What I don't so much, I guess you want to say. Say what? Oh, so I can't know somebody with these damn masks on, man. Yes, sir. Blessings. So, that's one of my brothers right there. I forgot he worked out here. Okay, so I can come out here and talk now. Woo! All right. Matter of fact, we're gonna go over here in the corner so we can have some room. Just give me 1 second, y'all. Y'all stay with me. I'm gonna break this whole thing down for you. I just want to see there's an area that I can actually sit out here somewhere. It is so stuffy in there. It's ridiculous. Okay, we're gonna plant right here. And I can talk to you guys about what I'm talking about. So, hey, is that better? Now you guys can hear me better? Oh God, I know I'm muffled as hell under this. Hold on, let me just hook up these headphones and you guys can hear me a little bit better than previously. So, Jesus Christ. So eventually what happened was, being that she wasn't able to be there that often, a lot of things got stagnated. One of those things getting stagnated is myself and where I was going to be placed at. Now, this guy, Dave, that I talked to, and she had him call me, was supposed to allocate me into a hotel room. 1 week passed by, 2 weeks passed by, 3 weeks passed by, I never hear from the guy. Finally, on probably the 4th week, I asked her, I said, where's this guy at? And she says, oh, well, I don't know, he'll call you. I said, okay. Then it changes into something else. And if you try to intervene and ask questions, what happens is it always turns into a confrontational thing, which you guys witnessed on camera. Every time that you even mention something, and I don't know, I think more of it has to do with strength, and I think a portion of it has to do, honestly and truthfully, with race. I really think it does. And I'll say more specifically out of the new director. The new director is really Power Stratonry. And basically, she comes in and says where everything goes her way. Now, many of y'all will remember I had this crazy wacko that was in there, and he threatened to kill everybody in the room and wasn't removed from the place because he's brand new there. There was another situation where there's men coming in and out taking the baths. It's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on there. So typically, what I'll do is I'll get up in the morning, take a walk, come back around about 8:30 or something like that. Sometimes I'll go live. Being in that place psychologically drains you. It really, really, really drains you. And two, I think being around that place is not of help. The places that they're putting people are dangerous neighborhoods that I've seen. The people they more so help are drug addicts, alcoholics, and people. There's 3 people in there right now that are on meth heads. And one is a fentanyl addict. They go in the bathroom, get high, everything like that. They're not a problem. But if you complain about it, you're the problem. And the mistake I did was I complained about somebody being in the bathroom getting high, and as a repercussion of it, I must have complained a couple too many times, huh? I'm sorry, I don't like people doing heroin up under me and then getting high, coming in the room and walking around me. Call me wrong for that, or call me just smart. Wish you luck, family. I don't need any luck, but you can hit Stringer Bell 80. I don't want well wishes. I don't want luck. I don't want Jesus is coming. I don't need the second reckoning of the crucifixion. I need y'all to listen. Listen, okay? When Tasha K or any of these other people get on here and they do their little thing or whatever, and you come out your pocket willingly for salaciousness and gossip, it's nothing. But for someone that really needs help, your answer is Jesus gonna help you. Jesus gonna help you. And y'all been using that same Jesus is gonna help you since the slave days. Jesus ain't came to help you. You gotta help yourself. And you gotta help your own, just like all the other race does. So let me continue. In this state right now, as I said before, there's no guarantee for housing once you are in the homeless shelter system, okay? I want you guys to look that up for yourself and you'll see that. In fact, if I have the time, what I'll do is actually send you guys a link, and when that link, I'll show you guys where the state of Connecticut themselves does not offer that. I do not have Zelle, but what I do, Black Jade, I have Cash App, and also in the description box, there's PayPal. See, Black Jade knows what I'm talking about. Jesus won't work, but a letter will. A letter what? I gotta go tomorrow. What letter should I write? You're not listening. And that's the problem. You skim over what I'm saying. I'll say to you again, Connecticut has no guarantee for housing as a state allocated law on the books, okay? It has not been amended. You would think it would be amended under the COVID-19 conditions and everything else. But Connecticut, out of the tri-state, that's New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, is the only state that doesn't have any guarantee for housing, meaning that they only have to put you in the shelter for 30 days. That's your only right that you have for 30 days. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I hope you don't forget. It may give you peace of mind to deal with the inevitable. You might be right. I remember being in EAU back in the late, now I don't know what that is. Life is hard, but manifest what you want. Wish you luck, family. You have to write a letter to the board of congressmen. Listen, lady, let me tell you something. I've called, what's your name? Tanel. Tanel, I've actually called the governor's office. And that's why I said, you guys don't listen. You skim over, you listen to 4 minutes of the video, and you think you got the whole gist of things. Or a lot of people, they read the title and think they got the whole gist of things. You don't. I can assure you, you don't. And if you would just hit my name and hit my videos and go through my videos and listen, you'll understand why I'm so frustrated right now, because I'm repeating the same thing I've been saying for the past 2 months, literally. But I know some of you are the subscribers, new subscribers, and I know a lot of you are toxsique diamond fans, which I found a lot of them on there today. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, where you at right now? Da, da, da. I'm at one of the local casinos right now because there's nothing to do around here. So I caught the bus, came out here, and I said, I'm going to chill for a minute. You know what I mean? So I've been walking around. I went and had me something to eat. I got me a coffee, and I am chilling. You know what I mean? Got me a Starbucks. This is $3. The same price as Dunkin' Donuts, by the way. All right, for y'all trip on that. It's $3. This is a medium. The things I've had people say that are so silly, like, well, how come you ain't like, they want you to definitely be downtrodden. I had somebody ask me, well, how come you shaved? How come I'm shaved? Because I'm a grown man and men shave, and razors only cost 99 cents. In fact, they give us free razors here. I had somebody else ask me, well, you sure look right to me. This was a Christmas present for me, this jacket, which was the only thing I got. And freaking this, it was $3, I think. $3, $4. This right here I've had for probably like 4 years. He wasting money on masks, though. Somebody said that one. He sure got money for a mask. What am I supposed to die? This is the silly things that you hear people in the culture say. But I put up a post in the community section today and I said this, and nobody's responded yet. I said, everybody, like I had one person that came on and they just act like they knew my whole life. They was just like, well, you wasn't trying to look for housing the whole time you was in there? Nigga, I got a 30% voucher. What you talking about? It's not about the housing. It's the fact that I was never supposed to stay here in the first place. Now, let me eloquently explain that for you. What I mean by I wasn't never meant to stay here, meaning that because of this COVID-19 thing, I don't know where a lot of you live at. I know a lot of you live in smaller areas. A lot of you live in rural areas. A lot of you don't understand city life. And I understand that. A lot of you never left your areas. But for some reason or another, the mistake that you make is you make that because what's going on in your area means as it's going on in every other area like that. And I can assure you, you are completely wrong. A lot of people try to equate also their life experience and what they have seen with your own. No, you've never worked for a record company. And I had somebody come on today that was a female. And she was like, ha, 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 they don't want you using their Wi-Fi no more. Ha, 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 ha. I left her up there. I wanted everybody to see it. And then she got like a bandwagon. I clicked the page. And I went to her profile on YouTube here. And I saw that she had shared a whole bunch of toxique diamond posts. So I was like, oh, okay, I know what that's about. And then there was another person that said today, see, God, they try to use God again. That's why I don't trust people when they use God heavily. Like every now and then, you use God when it's apple to the situation. You don't use God just as a reference to, well, I can't do nothing, so God gonna do it. Jesus gonna do it. How many times have you heard, there's been people that have been lynched while they screaming for Jesus. Okay? The people that were in the Tuscany accident, they were screaming for Jesus. People that were in prison be screaming for Jesus. You understand what I'm saying? Hit those like buttons, guys, if you would. And it's Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. Ain't nobody gonna tell me I can't fight for me. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care who you support. You feel me? I don't get on this mic and be begging motherfuckers. In fact, most of the time that I get on this mic and I get on this camera, I don't even be speaking about my Cash App or PayPal at least once or twice, maybe if that, and sometimes no time. One of those friends was in the Salvation. Let me see what people are saying here. I like to get what y'all saying. That was Black Jay. I got you. Thank you. One of those loose friends was in the Salvation Army. It saved her life, so I know you're going to get through. Yeah, y'all got to understand, like, what y'all talking about. Like, Tanel kind of knows what I'm talking about here. Been through a similar situation with housing years ago. Had to write a letter to my rep of the state. Capital only writing worse, not calling, stay positive. You're so right. Check your Cash App. Will do, Miss Yant. Yeah, it's oh, thank you so much, sister. I appreciate that, Yvette. That's what I'm talking about. It's always the women. It's always the women and the real dudes. Thank you, sister. I'm gonna keep talking to y'all because y'all gotta understand, like my new subscribers, what I'm talking about here. This system, and she knows exactly what I'm talking about. My friend Stephanie that died last month. God bless her heart, in the Bronx. And many of y'all remember me talking about it. I was very sad. I'm still sad about it. Stephanie was in that system for 5 years. I know people that have been in that system for 2-3 years and still haven't got what they needed. I don't know why it's so hard to convey the information, but we are in a worldwide pandemic right now, okay? It's not over. Thank you, sister, once again. And please stay with us. We are in a worldwide pandemic, all right? Things are not easy. I know a lot of you are running around acting like and pretending like you're rich and acting like you got somewhere to go and acting like, because you're working right now, that you got the job of a lifetime. And many of y'all got, in a normal world, regular jobs. You know what I'm saying? I've had people at freaking, for example, today when I was getting something to eat, this one girl had the nastiest attitude, and I was just like, why are you so mean for? When just 5 seconds ago when you were talking to those white folks, you were all right. And I've caught this behavior now 4 or 5 times on camera. where out here, I don't want to just say out here in Connecticut, but I also say in New York I've witnessed it, and I think it's a social thing, where I think African Americans and I think Latinos have become so subservient to everything that nowadays what they do is they just heal. And I think the same mentality comes when it comes with this Jesus thing. And I'm not talking about Jesus Christ and esoterically. I'm talking about Jesus Christ using them as a crutch. You understand what I'm saying? For what you won't do, what you know is right, and what you will do. I've had people come on my page talking about me and talking about I should have did this and did that, but now one person asked toxsique Diamond Monique why she was at the liquor store at 1 o'clock in the morning with her baby in the car, fighting, having her baby filmed and getting pulled over by police. So they want you to forget that. And so people came on my page today and told me, yo, you got your nerve talking about somebody. Look at you. A giggle, giggle, giggle. You know how the retards do. A giggle, 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 giggle. A key, key, key. Listen, I never live under the measurements of people like that. Ever, ever. I don't care what you have to say. You saw about my story that I'd already told. Y'all please hit them like buttons. Well, they're followers. You got to understand that. You're very welcome. Our people will not help us if they had it. I would take some of my tent one day and let somebody give me a hotel for one day, Mom. Our people will not help us. Yeah, they won't help us, but they ready to spend, though, ain't they? They ready to spend. I've been walking through this freaking, there's 2 casinos out here where I live at, y'all. So this is local stuff, by the way, okay? This is local. Everybody in the town comes here, you know what I'm saying? Because we're all equally bored. So I took that whole long 1-hour ride to come out here because I was just bored. You know what I mean? And it's more entertaining than being in that freaking town with all that trouble there, you know? There's a lot of trouble in that town. The town that I stay at has a big fentanyl problem. If y'all understand what fentanyl is, it's a type of drug that's like conducive, I guess, with heroin or something like that, but there's an epidemic of it in the town that I currently stay at. So that was one of the reasons why I never had to stay there. Now, the reason I'm there is because, just like the woman just said about writing a letter, I actually called the governor's office. I had called the governor's office, I had called HUD, and I had called the Department of Housing here in Connecticut. I'm gonna tell you why I had to call them. I had to call them because Connecticut simply wasn't prepared for this. I don't think most of the tri-state was prepared for this pandemic. But what happened is, since the pandemic is on, it has forced a lot of people to get evicted. It's forced a lot of people in a lot of financial hardships. And so these shelters and places like this get flooded, and they get flooded very quickly. So they have a waiting list. So at the time I was in New York, and the lady told me, she said, listen, and this was at 211, she told me first, she said, listen, we don't even have any spot to put you. I would love to have you, but we don't have a spot to put you. So she said, I'm gonna put you on this waiting list. And something told me in the back of my mind, I said, it sounds like Chuck. It sounds like she making something up. So I took my advantage and I said, yo, let me call the Department of House. And I called the Department of House and got a little leeway. So after that, I called the governor's office. My friend, Ruben, who I took a video of, he was the one handing out food. You'll see him in the video. He actually protested in front of the governor's mansion because at the time they were trying to let prisoners out that were low-risk prisoners for COVID-19. And he got it done, got interviewed by the local news and everything else. So he was the one that actually suggested that I call up there. And ironically, 2 days later, they gave me a call when I was in New York City and told me, come on out. And they said, we got a place for you. You can either go to Hartford or you can go to the town I'm at. And I said, well, I don't want to go to Hartford because I don't know anybody in Hartford, and Hartford's a rough city. So I chose here. These are the 2 places of availability that were closest to me. Understand now? So from the day of ascension that I went in there, I explained very carefully, listen, I'm new to your channel. I'm for you, brother. I love your situation turns around for the better. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And Tanel, you are so right. They do have low self-esteem. So as I continue, I have been very accurate about as far as my information, as far as what she was taking down from me. I'm going to ask for a copy of the information they have of me tomorrow for my own records and files. Hopefully they'll give it to me. And I'll show it for yourself and I'll put them up so you can see that nothing I'm telling you is Chuck. There was no availability in the area that I wanted to be at, and which is closer to where I would frequent, put it that way. So with that being said, One of the biggest problems was we had two. One, the director, which was the prior director, was in transition of being replaced. So she got replaced with a new woman. This woman is very stern, kind of runs the place like a prison versus, having any compassion and empathy. If you need any proof of that, you can kind of hear it in her tone today. This woman, from the jump that she's met me, she didn't like the way I looked. I heard her whisper, and I've got some other recordings that I'm gonna chop together. I've been chopping them together. They're just so long, and I gotta find the points of where people start talking versus the silent points to finish it all out. So far, I'm about 35 minutes on one of them, so that just lets you know. I record them for my own protection. These people will lie on you very quickly. They will paint situations, as in the one video you heard, where you heard the woman say that I told her to shut up when I said, I'll let you finish first. She translated that into I told her to shut up. I said, I didn't tell you to shut up. I said, I'll let you finish first. As you're in the day-to-day in the video, when I said the same thing to her and reiterated it again, I said, listen, I don't do that. I don't argue. See, they want you to argue and get irate and scream, and then you're the angry black dude. You know what I mean? You're the angry black dude. Why you so mad? I've had all kinds of twisters up, and then I call the police and all that stuff falls in. You know what I mean? He's the same type of people that a lot of people out here cooning for. I don't tap dance for many people. I truly wish I had the means to put you up in many others. Sending some new subby love. Thank you very much, Queen Daryl. What's your PayPal name? There's so many. All you have to do, Black Jade, is just go into the description box here on the video and just hit that. And there's two links in there. There's one for what's the name, and there's one, Davin. And there's one for PayPal. You just click them, it'll take you right to them. That's the easiest way right there. All right, so just go into the description box. That's that little upside down triangle there, and you just click that. It shouldn't take you to yours. Click it again. It shouldn't take you to yours at all, but if it does, I'll fix it around, but it shouldn't. It's probably because you're logged in. If you're logged in, that's probably why it takes you there. But we'll fix it. If anything, use the Cash App one too. That's only two means. I had to shut down my GoFundMe because my GoFundMe, if any of y'all know that have been here for a while, I had somebody create a GoFundMe in my name and was collecting money for it. In fact, they got about $1,400 more than I collected for my GoFundMe myself. Now, I don't know if they were doing that. Give me 1 second, Blackjack. I don't know if they were doing that for me, and I don't want to insinuate that they wasn't, but it didn't look like it because I didn't have any knowledge of it. So when I went there, I said to myself, I said, all right, well, let me cash my stuff out because if people doing stuff like this, I want to get away from it. So on my account, prior to when I did that, somebody had sent me the link for it, and they said, is this yours? And I said, nah, that ain't mine. So I complained to GoFundMe about it. And GoFundMe said, well, we're going to do an investigation. I said, all right. Something told me in the back of my mind. They said, you know what? Go ahead and remove your cash out of that. So when I started initiate moving my cash, they put a halt on that. You know what I mean? I got $750-something in there, I think. And they, what's the name? They just halted. I have not heard anything from them since. I'm sure COVID got something to do with it, but I've been meaning to call them back. But it's been a month, maybe more than that. You know what I'm saying? So I have money froze up there. Y'all also hear me in the video tell them people, like I showed y'all before, I was giving them people money per month to stay there. If any of you ever heard of that, it's supposed to contribute towards your living. If you're only there 120 days and the minimum to give is $260 and $260 is what? You're talking about $1,040 if you stay there for 4 months. $1,040, no, it's shorter than that. Yeah, about $1,040. You're gonna move in where? Where are you moving into? So they have to give me back, I think it's $7. There's a link for the Cash App too, man. In fact, if you sign up for the Cash App, you'll get $10 right back, to tell you the truth, Black Jay. So use my links, man. If you just use my links, it'll take you right there. There's a problem not only with the system that they have in place here in Connecticut for that, but they're going to have a more impending problem sooner enough, and it's starting to hit them now. They're starting to get a lot of wackos in there, as you can see. One guy that's in there with us, he had to have the mental people called in on him because he had threatened to kill everybody in the room. Right when we were asleep. We waited perfectly to the time we were asleep, said he'd kill everybody in the room. This guy was allowed to stay there and was there the next day. He has continued to be passive aggressive, throw little microaggressions, allowed to stay there. There's people in the bathroom doing heroin, fentanyl. They're allowed to stay there. But the one guy that says, hey, I just want my house as I can get out of there. I am so tired. I can see it in my face.
Most of the time I get to bed around about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and right back up at 6. So I get maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep. I was supposed to be out of there today, but being the fact that they can't find the people and get in contact with them, and I can't get in contact with them either, she said, well, we'll give you one more night. That's what y'all hear in the video. We'll give you one more night. So tomorrow I'm on my own, whatever happens. This is why I kept my storage room. I'm gonna take all my stuff and put it in my storage room. I'm gonna find out what's going on. And regardless if I gotta rent a room for a couple of nights or whatever, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. The point y'all not getting at is they're unfulfilled right now. And these people are so unfulfilled that they're willing to pass me on to another agency, which is in another town, which I'll probably go there and sit for another 4 or 5 months or 6 months or whatever. When I'm sitting on here asking the people, why won't they help? You know what I'm saying? Why won't they paper up my Cash App like they paper up toxsique, like they paper up toxsique Diamond, who reiterates the news but is able to go on vacations and get online and brag about her $43,000. I would never in my life, if I made $43,000 off of donations, get on here and be like how much I made in front of y'all face like I'm better than y'all. Even if I was back on, I'm not gonna sit up here and do some trash. That's trashy. People that really had something in their life, they don't do stuff like that. My life is not in shambles. I'm not on drugs. I'm not an addict. I'm not a alcoholic. I'm not a sexual deviant. I'm not any of that. And the only thing I suffer from is trauma and depression. And if you're wondering how I got there, I'm going to tell y'all that story. So I was with a woman for 7 years. And a very beautiful woman. Her name was Hadia. I will say nothing bad about Hadia in this, but I will say what happened. And which is this is directly, what's the word, recorded by the courtroom and by police and everybody else. So me and my ex, we probably should have broke up a couple of years ago. Darius, you ain't heard nothing I said, have you? Me and my ex broke up approximately about 5 years ago now, right before I left. And it was hard for me. It was very hard for me. It was a shock for me and everything else. And a lot of women don't think that men go through this stuff, but they do. There's a guy upstairs with us right now that's going through the same thing. He's getting divorced from his wife. He's 57 years old, been with his wife for years. Okay, gotcha, man. The problem is, when these things happen to men, nobody cares. Nobody sits there and asks them, well, how do you feel? How do you, whatever. My ex cheated on me the first time, probably, I don't know, a year and a half into us being together. I don't know what happened, but she still has some feelings for her ex or whatever. She went out hanging one night with a girlfriend, seemingly ended up in the car with her ex. His G butt dialed me. You know, butt dial is like you sit on your phone or something like that. So it went straight to my voicemail because I didn't answer. And it left about a 15-minute, maybe 10 minutes, some change worth of message. And within this message, I heard me being talked about, he ain't never at home. She was referring to me always being gone for this bad boy stuff or running my business. I'm too young for this, and there's all kinds of other stuff. And I was just like, wow, this is a person that lays in the bed with me every night saying this. And this guy was a white guy. He was a white guy. And I ain't got no problem with him being a white guy. But it was true, you know? And I kind of should have figured it because of the way my ex was. My ex was kind of like a, oh my God, like, yeah, type of girl. You know what I mean? But she's a black female. Ethiopian queen, you know? So, I'm sorry, y'all. Why didn't y'all tell me I was covering the mic? So, fast forward, probably 3-4 years later, I revenge cheat on her. I felt this sort of way because I thought she was talking to do it again. So I felt a certain kind of way. There was things that were leading to that. So I revenge cheated. I waited a couple months before I told her what I did. And I said, look, I'm sorry. I was mad about what you did. Can we move on from this? Because I forgave you, sort of. Now, I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. I didn't forgive her all the way. I didn't. And I think that was one of the problems. So already psychologically, I was already tarnished a little bit because this was somebody I trusted. Fast forward again. She's got some friend that's coming to her job, older man, older than me, excuse me. And all of a sudden he wants to give her a car. Now, there are some good-hearted people out here to give out cars or whatever, but the story just sounded suspicious to me because the dude used to come to a job every day. And I'm like, okay, what y'all did? Y'all hang out like that? I mean, like, what's going on? I go through her phone, and I find where she's been talking. What happened was I questioned her about it. We get into an argument. The argument takes place in my house. It turns into just like a back-and-forth match. Ultimately, I end up getting stabbed in my shoulder 3 times because my ex, come to find out, has a lot of emotional problems I wasn't even aware of. In fact, she was supposed to be taking medicine, and I didn't even know it. How that got past me, I don't know. Y'all call me a fool, whatever, but it's the truth. We get into an argument. I get stabbed 3 times. She calls the police on me. And I said, you know you're going to jail, right? I tell her this as she's dialing the number, but she's trying to make herself look like a victim when she's the wrong one. She goes into the bathroom and does something. I grab her phone and I start looking through her phone. I look through her phone. I'm like, oh shit. I go through the Facebook first. I go through what's the name. Then I drop the phone down. Put the phone down or whatever. Here come the police. The police come in. They see me bleeding. The lady, the dispatcher, then heard me telling them, hey, this woman stabbed me. It's about 5 police officers. Thank you very much. It's about 5 police officers out there. So when they come in, they arrest her, grab her, and put her in the cuffs. They tell her straight up and down, ma'am, it don't seem that way to me. There's no bruises on you. There's nothing on you. So she tries to play it like it's my fault. When I explain to them everything that happens or whatever, they take her down to the police station or whatever the case may be. I don't know what happened, but she got out like a day or 2 later. I didn't see her for a minute. I called her a few times, see if she was all right or whatever. And the first time, I meant to throw that in, the first time I guess she found out she was cheating and she left the butt mail message on my phone. That night she had broken my window because she got mad at me because I told her to get out of my house. So she broke my window. I had to call the police on her then. At that time, they took her for a psychiatric evaluation, which I should have known. We fast forward. My ex then gets into an argument with me on the phone about her getting arrested, and it turns into I threatened somebody to assault her. So I say to myself, okay, I threatened to assault you, huh? So I turn around and I say to myself, don't text this girl no more, don't call this girl no more, whatever. All of a sudden I start getting these barrages of nasty text messages telling me how she really always felt. So I just take them and I put them all on a disc. And I never say nothing nasty to her. You know, like the F you and, you know, you da-da-da-da, because I ain't never talked to her like that before. I never did. I love the girl. I ain't never talked to her like that. I call her an asshole, you know what I'm saying? She called me an asshole, but we never talk to each other viciously. That's the point. We're both Tauruses. We both got attitudes. She gets arrested. We go to court. I'm the victim, okay? I'm the victim, all right? That's how it's labeled by the state. I'm the victim. So she's on trial here, if you understand what I'm saying here. It was the hardest thing in my life to go into that courtroom and face her. But when she got in there, she just started lying on me. I was like, wow, this is somebody else with for 7 years. Was down for her. Like, yo, mama, you want to go back to school? Listen, encouraging her to go back to school, encouraging her to work, encouraging her, yeah, let's get another place, moved into a bigger place for this woman and everything else. So I want to keep that underlined, all right? I was doing all right by myself. You know what I'm saying? I was doing all right by myself. This woman helped me with smaller things. She went grocery shopping sometimes, so I want to salute her for that. She kept respect. She kept me back and forth in the studio. I'll give her that. And for most stakes and purposes, she was a good woman. She was just younger and she was confused. And I have to take that into court. But what it left me with was a whole bunch of bills that were not getting paid, a bigger place that I couldn't afford by myself any longer because I wasn't working the same job I was working as frequently with Bad Boy and all of them anymore. This is 2016, 15, going into 16, I think. Shortly before I left, month 2 before I left. So I told my landlord, I said, listen, his name was Joe. I said, Joe, I gotta move out. Because I know the repercussions of me having, see, in this state, if you get an eviction on you, or anywhere in the tri-state, it carries with you. And I've never had an eviction. So you're better off moving out or trying to work something with your landlord than getting an eviction. Trust me, that eviction sticks with you. And it's like having a felony. You know what I mean? Literally. Y'all hit those like buttons. It's $STRINGERBELL80 Stringerbell 80 on the Cash App. I need it. So I'm gonna keep going here. So finally I move out and I say to myself, you know what? I'm going back to NY. Now I live in Connecticut, and NY are right next to each other, all right? In New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. So it literally takes me, the first step in Connecticut is like 25 minutes, okay? So it's not a long trip. So I get up and I say, you know what, I'm leaving. I'm going to New York. All my friends are there. I'll reestablish myself. I had all these high hopes. So I was working. We were putting up solar panels and 3-4 towns away from here. They had a contract out there, whatever. We was out there, snow, rain, everything. I'll put up a video of it so you guys can see it. But we was out there and everything, all the elements. I've got a scar under one of my eyes here. Yeah, right here, I think it is, from when I got hit with one of the freaking solar panels. So, and we would do basically the constructions of the grids that the solar panels would go on. And then we would take like 2-man or 3-man team and place them into the things. And then an electric company would come behind us and grid them. And that was our job. And we did that from what, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning till as long as we go in the afternoon, because we was paying good money. We was getting paid $20 an hour. I stayed at that job, Jesus Christ, for a month and a half until OSHA shut them down. OSHA shut them down because they bid it on the contract, and basically you have to get certain portions of what they want you fulfilled at a certain time. So they didn't fulfill that, so OSHA shut down the site, you know, and they gave the bid to someone else, I'm assuming. I don't know, but we got our checks, we got paid, and I used that money to leave here. A lot of people said, well, you should stay there. I knew this job was temporary anyway. It's just putting up solar panels. Once the job is complete, it's done. My dad did construction. My dad ran his own business doing construction. I know how it go. You know what I mean? It's a contract. It's not a long-term job, and that goes with anything in construction. I'm not really a construction dude, but I knew that based off my dad. So fast forward some more, I leave and go to New York or whatever. And then y'all get that story about everything that happened there, whatever. I go through some tough times, and then I go through some good times. I get back linked up with my ex-boss, Sean Perez. I start going to his events and his tapings for Power Moves Makers in Brooklyn. Had a great, excellent time. Met some new people. Ran into some old people I haven't seen in a long time. People like Terrence Clayton, people like DJ Envy, and a couple other people at our tapings. It was wonderful. COVID-19 hit, and my life went to crap again. So the place I was staying at first, the people were moving out, which was my roommates. They were moving out, moving somewhere else in another state. So I had to go anyway. They were doing that prior to COVID-19 starting. So this was already been initiated. People had talked to the landlord and everything like that. It just got sped up more because of COVID-19 and the quarantine thing. I stayed in the house probably for a good 2 months in New York. God, it was crazy. Like, my roommates didn't really talk to me and stuff like that. I know y'all don't want to hear all this, but I'm trying to be as clear as I can so everybody can hear everything that I'm saying and not keep asking me the same questions. Because for me, this is a repeat, but I'm just going through the whole thing so you'll have to go through other videos and everything like that so you'll understand. Okay, so if you're patient, you want to listen to me, that's cool. If not, I understand too. I'm going to talk about a lot of other things too, including a little gossip. So just bear with me because I want to be fair. And if you ask me a question, I want to answer it. I don't want to be in the comment section, keep replying to people and stuff like that individually. It gets tedious. You know what I mean? The whole time we sat there under COVID-19 quarantine, all right? I didn't have any interaction with anybody psychologically. I think it bothered me. I think it bothered a lot of people. Soon as they let everybody out, everybody starts shooting and the violence starts in New York. And I mean bad violence. You're right about eviction, like a felony, have a bad credit or no credit. It sticks with you. Exactly, Janelle. So I was sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I can't sit around this violence. The people that I'm living with or renting my space from, they're moving. And they had told me, listen, this is over now. We're getting ready to move. You got anything? And it was spur of the moment, so I had to leave. So I started making phone calls. And I tried to see who and if any of my friends at Connecticut I could stay with, and everybody had their own situation. They didn't want nobody staying with them because of COVID-19. Is that hard to understand? You know what I mean? So I could get it. So I had one friend that told me, hey, you can come stay with me. He had an issue with his family, and one of his family members got sick or whatever the case may be. He asked me, he said, listen, man, I've got to make space so they can come here, so you have to leave. So I'm like, oh, man. And I don't think he did it intentionally nasty. I think this is the way it happened, you know? I ended up leaving his house, spur of the moment. stayed in the hotel for about 2 or 3 nights. And then I said, you know what, I'm not gonna blow all my money doing this. Just like I don't want to blow the money I've collected here on hotel rooms. I would rather everybody just try to donate and be like, yo, listen, man, here's, we put this together. Here you go, good brother. Get me in the spot, and then I can take it from there. I don't need no help from there. We really, really, really tried my best to get me situated and put in somewhere. Hey, what's going on, Queenie? To get me put in somewhere. That does not happen. It has not happened here in Connecticut, this in a portion of Connecticut, because of the availability, okay? I am now been approved for a voucher that I will only have to pay 30% of my rent upon the completion of that voucher, which I have to complete with this program. And that could be anywhere from a month to 3 months or whatever. I am getting ready to go back to a city, which compared to where I was at, it's going to be a lot rougher. You know, and I know that, and I'm preparing myself for it. There's going to be some rough people in there, and I'm probably going to have to end up fighting and pushing or whatever, and I'm tired. I'm really tired, and people just don't understand how tired I am. I've been at this now, running around for about 5 or 6 months, and if you're not stagnant anywhere, you can't really, you know what I mean? People ask me, how come you don't have a job out there? Well, I'll tell you one, there's not a big hiring frenzy out here during COVID-19. And I just talked to a young man that I hadn't seen in a minute. And he said, man, I'm lucky if I get 4 or 5 hours a day. I said, what? He's like, yo, man, for real. He said, I had a quick little rush 2 weeks for Christmas. And he said, most of the people out there say that. And if I took you even around this casino right now, you look at the stores in there, they're lucky if they got 2 or 3 people in there, if that, you know? And it's just dead. It's dead, you know? So there's not really a lot of commerce going on here in the first place, you know what I'm saying? And at the price points that they're hiring at, which Connecticut minimum wage is $12 an hour. New York minimum wage is $15 an hour and more, you know what I'm saying? But the average and the state mandated minimum wage here is $12 an hour. You cannot live off $12 an hour. And I'll give you an example of that. The $12 an hour, say you pay working 4 to 5 hours a week, right? And your rent, the basic rents here start at $950 up to $1,200. That's the median for rents. You tell me how, with your math, you're gonna pay for that in this area on $12 an hour. That's one reason. That's what I thought. Because anybody can add, they know what I'm talking about. Hi, Tanya. So that's for one. 2, I was never supposed to stay here in the first place. So why would I start working here when at any moment and given time, these people are like, you're going to be transferred, so you got to go. And I kept saying that and kept saying that and kept saying that and kept saying that. Nobody believed me. Well, here it is. Here it is. Thank you so much. Hey, Dad, bro, finally caught you live. What's going on, Barty? All right. He's really got the body, what's the name there, too. Thank you, baby girl. Queenie said, looking great. Y'all hit those like buttons, too, man. Everybody hit the like button, please. You know what I'm saying? If anything, if you're not donating, just hit the like button and just listen to my story, because I'm pouring out myself to you guys, and I very rarely do this, but I want to make sure, hey, Roxanne, I just want to make sure I explain to everybody what's going on. Thank you so much, Barney. So fast forward, and now where am I at? Oh, yeah. So now I end up calling, it's back to the same thing. I end up calling 211. I'm like, hey, listen, I don't have a place to go, I actually 2 nights in a row slept outside. I slept one night at the train station, and then another night I slept like at this little bench thing or whatever. I had my bag with me. It was still warm outside, so it wasn't that bad. And finally, I called the Department of Housing. Well, I spoke to one first, Department of Housing, HUD, then I called the governor's office, and they got me in. As a manager of Subway, I made $10.75. Then with EBT, I was only eligible for $81 a month for 3 people. Yes, as an addict, I got $500 a month. Yeah, see what I'm saying? Yeah, as an addict, I got $500 a month. I don't know the answer, but life is harder when you're trying. Isn't it, though? Janelle said that. Janelle 809 says, as a manager of Subway, I made $10.75 an hour. And then with EBT, I was only eligible for $81 a month for 3 people. Yet as an addict, I got $500 a month. I don't know the answer, but life is harder when you're trying. All right, Preston X. Thanks so much. Hey, all you guys hit the like buttons. Tech design for apparel. I went to school for digital media communications, but I don't, unfortunately, because, okay, let me explain that to you. So in the mornings, this is usually the routine. Somebody's gonna wake us up at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, right? Hey, what's going on, LT? Somebody's gonna wake us up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So generally you're up about 5, 6 o'clock. Somebody's muttering around, moving around, whatever the case may be. Y'all hit those like buttons, guys. So basically you're up about 5 or 6. Generally speaking, you ain't go to sleep until like 12 or 1 because you got a whole bunch of guys around you, and you don't feel comfortable. The other thing that doesn't make me very comfortable is I'm 6'3", if y'all can't tell. I'm gonna try to move this camera back a little bit so y'all can tell a little bit, but I'm very tall and wide. You know what I mean? So being a tall man, we're sleeping on these little mini beds that are singles, you know what I mean? So my legs cramp up. I do a lot of exercising all the time to try to, you know what I mean? Hey, what's going on, really random? I try to exercise and do this stuff as much as I can, walk and everything like that, but it's cramped up. So from, let's say, 1 o'clock in the morning to like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, that's when I get to sleep. That's when everybody is completely knocked out of dream world. Then there's that one person that gets up and slamming the door, making noises, coughing, and there's a lot of mental illness going on in there. So it's different things. Based on that, I end up leaving. Well, we gotta leave out, or I'll leave out at 6:30, take a walk around the neighborhood, whatever, have my coffee, just to get away from everybody. I need my quietness in the morning. I'll come back at around about 8:30, 9 o'clock, because we have to leave by 10. When we leave at 10, we cannot come back until 5 o'clock in the evening. You heard me right. So whether it's cold outside, it's 20 degrees, it's been some mornings, it's been 15, 20 degrees the whole day, you gotta be outside. And once you're outside against the elements. Now, they have this place that's called a warming center. Let me tell you about that place. That place has now gotten to the point where the police park in front of it, because they have had now, I think, 2 overdoses and caught several people now with drugs in there. They have gotten so bad that now they have put a police officer in there. I told the lady the first time she told me to go there, I said, no, I'll pass, because I knew what was going to be waiting for me. I have a unique situation because unlike most of that population that's in there, and I'm not trying to say I'm better than anybody, I'm not like them. I've had the director tell me that. I've had my social worker when she was around tell me that. I'm not like them, and I know that. My circumstances are different. There's also another gentleman, and his circumstances are different too. Doesn't mean that we're better than these people. Our circumstances are just different, you know? I am so completely tired that some days I sit down and I almost pass out, you know? There's been days that I only eat once a day, you know? As great as I look, you know, like I said, a lot of my stuff comes from storage, man. Thank you very much, Barney. I appreciate it. Most of my stuff is in storage, so I'll go and switch my clothes out. I've been had nice clothes. Always had nice clothes. That's nothing. You know what I'm saying? I've given away clothes to people in that shelter. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when people donate, I would go buy a pizza or 2 for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all share it up, chop it up. Nobody's done that for me. But I do that for them because I'm a nice person like that, and I like to share with people when I'm fortunate enough to have my own, which I will do once I get back on my feet even more. I've done it in the past. I've known for that. I hold no qualms for that, for being that person either. But one thing I found out, and what got me here on YouTube, was when I asked my brothers from Bad Boy Entertainment to help me out, they wouldn't. You know, I won't say that they wouldn't, but they definitely shunned me and didn't do as much as they could. People come on here all the time and they ask me, well, how come Puff ain't reached out to you and helped you, whatever. I don't know. Ask him all the dozens of artists that he hasn't helped. Ask all the dozens of people that he's done business with. They'll say the same thing, you know? Somebody found me yesterday and started following me on Facebook. And I was cool with it. Thank you, Really Random. But right now, I and you will get back. Yeah, I hear you, Cocoa Butter Bobby, but right now it's a donation drive right now because the hotels don't be hearing that. You know, you're going to rent for somebody in the room. They don't. God told me to come here and y'all give me a room for free. It doesn't work like that. You know, I wish it did, but it doesn't. So it's $STRINGERBELL80 Stringerbell80. The links are in the description as well as the PayPal link. I would hope y'all will implore to donate. I know a lot of y'all getting them rebate checks. I ain't got mine yet, but them COVID $600 checks, you know, throw a little $20, $50 or whatever if you can. I would appreciate it. I really would. You know, I love God. I'm with God all the time. Don't get me wrong. I put the ultimate faith in God. But God also sends people to you. And also it says in the Bible 10% of your what's the name should go towards helping people, your income. You know, so when we quote the Bible, make sure you remember that passage too. Okay, don't forget that passage. You know, a lot of people, they selective with the passages in the Bible. I grew up in the church, so I know when people being selective, including preachers with the Bible. You know, people have a tendency to use the Bible to fit their situation and their narrative and what they're preaching instead of dealing with what's right in front of them. You know, and right now, what you have in front of you, you have a brother asking for help when many other brothers are asking for help. Really random, it's nothing mandated here. I invite everybody to come here. I'm just asking, you know. But I implore everybody to come here, invite everybody to come here. I don't care if you even don't agree with me. Some of the people that came on my page and said, if you don't say nothing too heinous, I'm not going to block you. You know, everybody's a right to their opinion. Everybody, please hit those like buttons if you can, and it's $ stringer bell 80. A lot of people, including my one friend that got kicked out at the same thing after 4 months and ended up having to go somewhere else. He was getting ready to get placed in an apartment that 2 days earlier, they had a shootout. Okay? The place where I stay in, the town that I stay in, is not a very safe town. It's very rough. The people there are very rough. There's a lot of things that are going on because it's so small. People see each other every day and they're inquisitive. You know, what's this guy? Or they want to start trouble with people, you know, whatever the case may be. Across the street from the shelter I stay at, which is a video in this feed here that you can find in my videos, there was a triple shooting across the street from the place where we stay at. They never asked us if we were all right. They never asked us to do any psychological, you know, anything. They didn't even ever mention it. It was like, oh, that's okay. The mentality of these people at the shelter is pretty much they can do whatever they want to, how they want to, because of based on how the state laws are set up. And they will continue to be like that. I can assure you if I went to the next spot, it would be the same thing. So right now, enough is enough. I'm tired. And I know you guys, whether it's $5, $10, whatever the hell it is, don't want to see me going through this no more. And I wouldn't want nobody else going through this no more. And the sad thing about it, there's other people like me that look like me, got the same skin as me or whatever, and they going through the same damn thing right now. And these freaking what's the name, under this duress from these what's the names, under this COVID-19 thing, are not going to help people of color. It's going to take people of color helping other people of color. I say so many times, and people think that I'm bugged when I say this, if I was Hasidic or Jewish, I wouldn't even be having this conversation. I could go to a Hasidic or Jewish community, and they would help me electively on their own. And now we have to start getting people to understand it is not a big, you're not a big person because you were on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram bragging about how much money you made off your donators like this chick was doing. You know what I'm saying? Toxique Monique or Toxic Diamond, you know? It's like, it's I don't know, man. I'm just tired. My soul tired. My body tired. And I don't know if I'm going to this next situation. You know, I've had a lot of situations out here. I got another video on here where I got attacked by somebody and a Mexican guy for asking them, yeah, Stringer Bell 80, Barney. Yeah, that's fine, man. Your story hurts my heart, really random. Thank you for not just saying if you were right. No, I wouldn't say that, you know. Thank you, Queenie. Stringer Bell 80. Yeah, it's in the description box right there. No, I just said if I was in the Jewish community, if I was in many communities, and that outside of that, it would be the help would be there. I reached out to the Latino community. I always get some love, you know. I've reached out to my family before. That's the other question. So my family. I don't have a tight-knit family like that. I haven't been tight with my family in many years because people ask me, why doesn't my family help you? Me and my mother have a strange relationship. We're not very cool at all. My grandmother and my aunts, I can say her name, my Aunt Lanny, we're probably the ones that are the most tight. My aunt is very sick right now, and I'm scared for her. She had a heart attack not too long ago. I shouldn't even be telling her business like that, and she's a frail woman. She's very skinny. And ever since I was a little kid, I used to ride around her. She had a Datsun. I used to ride around. I've always been with her, you know? Like the way you would be with your mom or something like that, I was with my aunt all the time. She's my mom's youngest sister, and I love her. And I'm scared that I'm scared that I know that eventually she's gonna be gone.
And it's like everybody I care about, something happened to them, you know? But that one's gonna really bother me. I know it is, you know? That's my favorite aunt. She is my, like, everything to me. You know, she called me son because she's more closer to me than my own mother. My family doesn't like the decision I made. They don't, you know, in their world, I would have came back down the way, went to college at the college they picked, with their friends, with people they graduated with, and are now teachers or alumni or whatever, and become what they wanted me to become. Generally speaking, that probably would have been a doctor or something like that or whatever. I come from a family, my uncle was an engineer at GE, General Electric, for years. Worked at the General Electric plant. God, my one aunt, she was in the service. All of them are military people. I come from good people, I really do. But they don't deal with me. They don't like my decision. They're church people, so they don't like my decision getting in the music business. And so they disassociated themselves with me. They thought it was evil. And hey, they might be right. Maybe I'm paying some sort of penance for what I was involved in, which was helping promote these albums and everything like that, and the synergy and the energy that's out there. I didn't do it on purpose. I did it under the guise of I was making my life better, you know? So that's why I never, ever get on this mic, and you'll never hear me front. And for toxic diamonds, people to come on and say what they want to say to me, and you shouldn't be talking. I'm gonna ask you this: what does my situation and asking people to donate to me have to do with you getting caught in the car at 1 o'clock in the morning on your way to go get a beer with your 11-year-old daughter, getting in a fight, having her film, and getting pulled over by the police, then lying on Jaguar right when you get to your hotel because obviously there's something wrong with you, and the police sense it, and just like they do in Las Vegas, because I've been to Las Vegas before, they will ask you, man, where are you staying? Because what happens is a lot of people will drive to Vegas because it's warm, and they'll drive out there from Los Angeles. They'll drive out there from several other places. And what they'll do is they'll set up camp out there, and they'll live in their cars, live in their vans, whatever. And the people and the police out there, they know that. There's people that live under the bridges in Las Vegas, believe it or not. The underpasses and the bridges. Yeah, family is so damn complicated. You got that right. I'm gonna get back into that. So that was the problem. None of these people that came on my page talked anything about that. They ain't say nothing about toxic Diamond getting pulled over with her daughter, or the video that I put up of her yelling at her daughter. They see something was wrong with her. Ain't nobody called no police on her, and I know Jaguar ain't called no police on her. You understand what I'm saying? How would Jaguar know that was happening at that moment when you didn't put the video up until later? You're not making sense. I mean, she would have to know what hotel you staying at to call them on you. Come on, nobody's monitoring your page like that. You put that video up at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. You think you're that popular? Delusional. Guys, hit that like button if you would. And it's $STRINGERBELL80, stringer bell 80. Links are in the description, man. I need y'all help today. That does not equate to you hating all black women because you speak on a type of woman which includes all colors. Wrong is wrong. Exactly. It includes all women. It's not this. I think some people, they pay attention and put center on black women, but it's not. I'm talking about all women like that. I'm just talking about specifically black and Latin women because that's what I'm around. Don't you understand? So it's not that I'm centering in on you. No. I don't mean that. I mean, there are so many women out there that are bad women that are in the way of good women. Does that make sense? It is being race related. That was just wrong. Her daughter doesn't need any of that. I know, and that was just a sad thing about it. I was like, why is she saying it's because she's black? It's not because you're black. It's because you're a jerk. But damn, late night alcohol buying and fighting. That's what I'm saying. Jack seemed as surprised as the rest of us while she was watching the clip. Exactly. I know she did Cocoa Butter Bobby. Nobody called nobody on her, telling her lies. And that's the woman that get papered up with $43,000. Y'all should give me $43,000. I'll show y'all what I do. You know what I'm saying? And I end up hiring a couple people. That's what I'm trying to get back on.
I don't have 5 more months to race with these people. I don't have 4 more minutes to waste with these folks. Not a minute. I had a social worker that was there maybe 1 or 2 times out of the week because she was having complications with a pregnancy, is now fully gone and been replaced by another girl who could less likely give a damn. She's there to collect a paycheck. This is her perspective. Okay. And they do this little thing, basically ignoring you. And the director kind of does the same thing. Okay. Or as you can witness, that's why I had to record it. She'll try to talk over you. Well, this is what's going on, okay? So irregardless if you like it or not, I'm like, I really want to say, bitch, who the fuck you talking to? But I don't. Because I know at that point, that's what she'll be on the phone. Hello, 911. She wants to do that so bad and she can't get that out of me. They're so big-headed, Janelle, and so big-headed during a pandemic. That's the same. If I can't, listen, this is my thing. If I can't depend on the people during a pandemic, when can I? Y'all gotta answer that for me, Sway. If I can't depend on the people during the pandemic, and when can I? Huh? Because everybody seems to have no problem with the star. I've seen people donate $100 to stars. Joe Budden, all kinds of people. Joe Budden's a multimillionaire. Why are you donating $100? Oh, I know you want to be seen. And that's the problem. Too many people want to be seen. I don't want to be seen. I keep my mind a buck. You know what I'm saying? I show a lot of respect, man. You don't know how much. I wanted to beat the dude up so bad up in our thing that did that thing and told me he was gonna kill everybody in the room. I wanted to beat him down so bad. Uncle, I gotta call you back. I wanted to beat him down so bad and I didn't, you know? People are giving to rich people all day, every day. Isn't it the truth? I don't understand. I'm reading the comments. How do you donate to multi-millionaires, but then there's more people online that's just like me, is going through the same situation or worse, and you don't donate to them? So being recognized on YouTube is by a star is bigger than you than I don't understand it, man. I just don't understand it. I won't begin to try to understand it, you know? People count, man. People count. And if you're talking about all this black power, and we need to come together, go get the bag and all that, you're telling people to go get the bag from a white man, but you're not hiring yourself. You understand that? I have so many people come on, why don't you go talk to the white man? But then at the same token of breath, they want to talk about entrepreneurship. Who are you hiring? Are you hiring? Do you live in the locale that I'm going to? See, these are the questions that people won't ask themselves, and this is the hypocrisy that comes along with it. I'm all for the people. I've always been for the people. One thing they'll tell you when I came with the Bad Boy Entertainment, they used to ask me if I was Muslim because I always refer to everybody as brother, which I found out you shouldn't do that. Because a lot of these people ain't your brothers and sisters as y'all seeing. In fact, a lot of the sisters that come on here, some of the best damn women ever in my life. You know, when I broke up with my ex, I had a disdain for a short time, but I did. I had an anger towards black women because it reminded me of my ex. And I don't mean the anger of, oh, I hate them. And I don't mean that type of anger. I mean that anger at the presence because it reminded me of my ex and how I was hurt. That's a different type of anger. And I don't think a lot of people understand that, no matter how many times I try to explain it, but it was a different type of anger. And I subsided that anger. And it started with one sister named Crystal being very, very nice to me and being consoling to me and being like, what's wrong with you? And I explained it to her. She listened to every word I had to say. And she said, I know why you hurt. You loved her, didn't you? I said, yeah. More than anything. And still do if you're watching. I'm here and messed up. You see you out here. You know, one of the things, only thing I regret about leaving here is I didn't get to see her when I was here. And it was ironic as hell because her niece hit me up in my inbox just to ask me, hey, how you doing? And I put up a post saying, yeah, I'm leaving, you know. And I'm glad I'm leaving. I don't need to be here. I don't fit in here. And I know I don't, you know. So, guys, I'm gonna get over here. I'm gonna come back maybe later. Really.